To begin drawing the hair, you'll need to place the hairline. Where exactly do we place the hairline? Well, first we need to find the midpoint between the eye and the top of the shape of the head. So we have the eye, the line up there. Yeah, it seems like a decent. Place it maybe a little bit above that, maybe even halfway between that. So from here, you'll have the hairline. You curve it on this section. This time around, we'll be drawing long hair. And once you have your hairline, you want to add some volume. So here I'm drawing strands, one strand of hair, a second strand of hair, that kind of gets lost in here, and then last but not least, another strand of hair. And this right here will actually end up covering the ear. Maybe more clear with my lines. I don't want too many lines overlapping, otherwise I'm going to get lost when I start shading if I have too many lines. I want to just enclose another strand of the hair. There we go. All I did was make this wider, so I pushed that diagonal line a little outward. Make these lines as thin as possible. I don't want to have too shaded in there. Okay. Now the hair on the left side will be simple compared to the hair on the right side of this. Of course, we're adding volume, and that goes above that curved line that represented the top of the head. It should be higher than that. Part of it should be behind the ear, and then we're just going to curve. Then we can erase any extra lines that we no longer need. Okay, once you have everything outlined, blocked in, then we move on to placing the highlight. We can add some highlight in the middle. So this area is going to have highlight, H for highlight, because the light is coming from this part, right? The light. That's why. Okay, we'll have some highlight in this area, and then some highlight in here as well. Now on here, we'll add a little bit of a highlight on this part of our hair, and we'll add some highlight perhaps around here, this section. Okay, once we blocked in where we have our highlights, now we're ready to start shading towards the highlight. Shade very close together. Should be darker down here. Alright. Shade very close together, your strokes. I can see these lines and they bother me. Those jagged lines I created at the beginning, I no longer need those. So, because I know I stopped in that area, I know the highlights are there, so I don't need them anymore. So I'm going to remove them. They really do bother me because they don't fade. This, I see that. Bit of a fade there. Going in to check on those shadows. Here I should have some shade too, of course. When you shade, make sure you lift as you get towards the lighter areas. It's a medium-sized forehead. Again, depending on your hairstyle or the individual, they might have, their hairline might end up being lower, or their hairline might be higher. We shade from darker to light towards the highlight. And from down here, this is on the inside, so this should be a little darker because we find it next to the ear. And that means this ear is a bit hollow, so the hair is curled in. Fade to a lighter area here. I see the jagged lines, I gotta remove those, I cannot have those. I might just end up pushing everything out of the way and do all the example, complete the example, and it might not be under your view. So I'm just going to work with it this way. Wait at the end to work on the shadows, but I don't want it to get lost, so I'm just going to add pressure right there. It has a curve to it. I'm going to curve it. It curves this way, and then it curves this other direction. So observe how your hair flows, the strands of your hair flows, and that should guide your flicking, the curvature, the direction of your flicking. Okay, I'm a little too off. Oop, I can fix that. And then down here, add some flicking. This area does need a little more pressure, because it should be dark. It looks kind of the same color, the same tone as the top area, so I'm adding more pressure already so it doesn't get lost. I'm trying to avoid confusing myself. If I know it looks the same, if I know it looks the same tone, I make sure that I am adding pressure so I don't have trouble with that. Okay, so here I'm gonna go ahead and add that other layer of strokes of hair with more pressure. The strokes are shorter. And don't forget, I'm working on this with a regular pencil, so you can achieve the level of gradients with an ordinary regular number 2 pencil. So it's all in your pressure. I'm sharpening that tip. If you sharpen it thinner, you get those thin lines, really thin lines. That really make it look really awesome velvet. If it has too much highlights under that, just a little bit of the gray on there. Okay. So I'm putting more contrast on here, so I'm getting darker. It look too flat because I did not have enough layers or dark strokes. Look at that, Really cool. Okay, I'm finish working on this down here. Mid grays. Do not forget, I'm working on mid grays first before I really stroke with more pressure and create darker lines and create value. Make them shorter. Just make a highlight on that side. Highlight should be in the middle. So there we go. Towards light. The light highlights in the center. The same for this area here. Strokes are shorter, more pressure. Mid grays, I went too dark here. Mid grays. If you have wavy hair, this is what you will be working with. Strands of hair layered over, under one another, and this is how you should be working with your shading on that specific type of hair. Of course, if you have straight hair, then your hair will look similar to the left side of this drawing, and we're going to start that right now. So we have the highlight in this little area, and we have some highlight on here. This is just, again, a generic example. When you start drawing yourself or someone else, the lighting might be different. So be very observant when that happens. So here we have the highlighted area, highlight, and some highlight down here. So we're going to shade. The hair should fold a little bit here. Shade diagonally, and then shade towards the highlighted area, and shade towards the highlighted area. So the highlight is in this area right here, so I need to shade towards the highlight. There, and erase it and fade with my pencil. Only my pencil. Don't use any napkins. Fade with your pencil. You're using a feather as you get towards the highlight area. Okay. In this area too, you should have a fade from the ear. Around the ear should be a little darker. Of course, my example here is not detailed. Your example of your ear should be detailed. Fade. I lift my pencil as I get towards the highlighted area. Leave no gaps between strokes. And this needs some more hair, looks like it does. And there you go. If you have long and straight hair, this is how you should shade and apply the flicking technique to create the texture of hair.